Welcome back from the commercial break. My name is John Quartey. This is Sports Directive, watching live from Zabzulu Tatale in the northern part of Ghana, or maybe on the streets of Abra in the central region. This is the show where we'll bring you all the best in terms of sports here in Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the world. Well, over the weekend, there's a new wind blowing within the Ghana Olympic Committee. There's a new man in charge of the committee in lawyer Richard Akpokavie, new executive elected in a very successful congress held at the Accra International Conference Center. We'll get deeper into the man who will be leading the Olympic Committee here in Ghana for the next 4 years and maybe beyond. Oh yeah, how are you and welcome?
Thank you very much. I'm well, by grace of the Almighty.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, how does it feel knowing very well you lost this first election 4 years ago, now you managed to chalk it? How does it feel?
Well, I'm happy, I'm like a proper sportsman that I am. When you work hard, you go to competition, you lose, you go back, work harder, and go for the next competition. So I'm happy that this turned out the way it is, and that I am now the president.
You won massively. I mean, that the writing was on the wall alone, but what really worked out for you? What did you do to ensure this sweet victory for yourself?
Mainly, I mean, I let people know the kind of person I am, and luckily for me, because I've worked with most of them over the period of time, they knew me, they knew my track record, so I kept emphasizing the fact that we need to do certain things right, we need to empower athletes, and we need to work together as a team. And I think what really resonated with them was that working as a team, because without working as a team, we are not able to achieve our aims, really.
Okay, victory is in, there's a new wind blowing. Just like you made in your speech, your acceptance speech or your victory, you said that elections are over, we need to move forward. What should we expect from Richard Akpokavie's administration as president of the Olympic movement in Ghana? What should we expect from you?
A few things. First of all, a more united committee. One of my greatest objectives is to make sure that we work as a team. That's why I emphasized on Saturday that it's Team GOC. Yeah. It's not anybody. I'm just a leader. And there are several leaders who are on the board with me, and we must work together. Luckily, there are about 15 or 16 federations represented on the executive board. So if the executive board is working well, we can easily get the federations also behind us so that we can work well. Another thing we need to look at is that we need to plan better. We need to plan better because there are so many challenges facing us that without planning, we will not succeed. Funding is a huge issue, and it's going to be even worse because, as we know, we have economic challenges in the country, okay. And therefore, we are going to get we need a lot of support from outside government. So, and we can't do that without planning. So planning is key because funding is always one of our biggest challenges. So we need to do that and make sure that we plan and able to. And then finally, we need to make sure that the athletes are the center of whatever we do. It's important. We are there because of the athletes. We must make sure that their voices are heard, they are part of the decision making, and that we are able to achieve things once they are with us and we all work as a team and plan properly.
Okay. Break it down for me. What will be your short-term achievement and probably a long-term goal as president of the GOC?
In the short term, the things we want to do are, one, we want to make sure that the Athletes Commission is properly formed, so that their voices are heard at Congress, yeah. Voices are heard at the Executive Board, and also on the committees. Every committee of the Olympic Committee must have an athlete representative on it. That's one of the first things. Two, we are going to sit down in a retreat and plan for the next 4 years. Clearly, what do we want to achieve? What are the priorities? What sports do we want to take to the various events? And how do we prepare for the events? Or how do we go about the issue of funding? How do we deal with it? Who do we go to? Those are the things we need to talk about immediately. So in the next couple of months, those are the things we need to deal with. And then, in the long term, infrastructure issues come into play because we need to assist government to see how we can get more infrastructure for our athletes.
Okay. Let's talk about issues that's worrying a lot of people. Prior to the elections, anytime we go to GOC meetings, we hear wrangling, shouting, lawsuits here and there. A lot of people even wondered whether that Saturday's Congress will happen because of lawsuits. So much internal dispute within the GOC. As a lawyer, how are you going to fix this?
If you recall, during my speech, I alluded to that. One of the things we need to do better is to manage our disputes better. And I think we need one major way we can reduce this dispute is that the GOC must ensure that every sports federation has an alternate dispute resolution mechanism in its constitutional statute.
Yeah.
There, clearly, that if you are disgruntled, follow this process. After that, if you are not happy, still not happy, the GOC also has a chamber, an appellate chamber, where you can come to resolve your disputes. So that we create a panel of people, mediators, arbitrators, and who can listen to disputes and resolve them, who are not necessarily sports people directly, but who may be some sports, some outside sports, who can really sit on this dispute and resolve. So that when you go to court, without going through this process, the court will tell you, come back and follow the process. When we do that, and if individuals and federations know that the court will not listen to you unless you come and go through the process. And it used to be a problem in football for a long time until they changed some of their statutes. Now, you have to go through the process. Yeah. And that's what same thing we should do with every single federation. And the GOC can also act then as an appellate body, so that if, in case you're having still disgruntled, you can come to the GOC and we can also listen to you.
Okay. I spoke to some of the executives that have just been elected, the likes of Nathaniel Johnson, represent Quartey, Kamal Dini, who's your good friend, by the way, and Nilante Panama. Oh, yes. All of them insist to saying that there should be a stakeholder meeting within the GOC and everybody that concerns sports in Ghana to help sell some of the issues that need to be probably going forward as a GOC. Do you think that stakeholders meeting is very, very important? It's
important. The first step towards that is that we, the federations, must meet ourselves first.
Okay.
So in the next couple of weeks, you'll hear that we'll go to a retreat.
Okay.
Just the federations, talk, discuss, do everything we want to do. Then when we have our own ideas and plans, then when we are meeting the ministry, we are meeting the NSA, we are meeting with media, whatever, we have our plan. And we are discussing with them. So when we get a buy-in of everybody, then we are selling to the public. So it's crucial. But first of all, we, the federations, must meet and make sure that we are clear in our minds what we want to do, how we want to do it, and how we are going to fund what we want to do.
Okay. Well, this is Sports Direct. My name is Phil John Quartey. I'm engaging the newly elected president of the Ghana Olympic Committee and lawyer, Richard Akpokavie. The next 4 years, and maybe more, he'll be leading Ghana's Olympic movement to the rest of the world. Okay. Lawyer, let me just find out this thing for you. The Olympic Committee is a very important aspect of Ghana in terms of our industry and sports here in Ghana. I mean, over the past years, 8 or 12 years, there's been too much internal wrangling, and corporate Ghana seems to be worried about how to fund some of the movement of the Olympic Committee here in Ghana. How are you going to sell yourself to corporate Ghana? Because it's very important. Like you're saying, you have big projects that you need to get there. The Amasaman is there, all the stuff is there. How are you going to sell yourself to corporate Ghana?
That's the message, but I'm convinced we can do it, because that was the main focus of my message during campaign. Okay. When I went around with the federations, I kept telling them, we cannot continue like this. Bickering is too much. We need to focus. So with the results, it's confirmed to me that they bought into it. Yeah. We have to let the public know that we are one. As I emphasized on Saturday, it's Team GOC. Elections are over. We are going as one team, and we have to work towards getting that. So, look, there is no corporate body that will support us. If every day they hear we are fighting in papers, all social media, it will not work. So if we want to get funding and support from the corporate world, we must be one. So it's something I've emphasized, and I'm happy to say that the federations are bought into it. And as you said, some of the federation president you talked to feel it is important. When we drive this agenda, I'm sure that because I believe in it and I'm leading this charge, we'll be able to succeed, get a plan, and then when we are going to the federations, we'll go as a united force, and then they'll see how much it's important that they support us to be able to achieve this for the country.
Okay, let's talk about the Amasaman project. It's on the lips of many, including the President of the Republic of Ghana. And that's it. What is happening to the Amasaman project? It's very, very important.
Yes. It started, it hasn't been completed yet, and my commitment is to finish that project. I mean, as soon as possible. We need to, once we fully take over, we need to do an assessment, meet with the contractor, see what is outstanding, how much is involved, what has to be done, and then we'll take charge and then complete it. Because we also need to talk to Anoka, the Olympic Africa director, Mr. Tieno Diak, who is in charge of the project, and see how we can complete it. All I want to assure His Excellency the President, the Minister for Sports, all the stakeholders, ANOCA, is that we'll complete that project.
Okay.
In my time, we'll complete it.
What will be the efforts to work with the Sports Ministry and the National Sports Authority? That's the best way to ensure that things will go within the GOC. What are steps that you want to take to ensure that there's a smooth relation between yourself and them? Luckily,
we already established contacts with the ministry, with the Honorable Minister, and the Sports Authority. Thanks be to God, the Director of the Director General of Sports Authority is one of us. He'll be involved in federation activities. One of the deputy directors also has been involved in sports for a long time, Veronica Comey. So we already have a good platform to build on. God willing, next week we'll be visiting, the whole board will be visiting these personalities, and we've already reassured them that we are going to collaborate with them to achieve what we can achieve. The minister has a mandate from His Excellency the President to achieve certain targets for his government. We are determined to assist the minister to achieve those targets for His Excellency the President, so that in 4 years' time, the minister will be happy that he has achieved the targets. We will be happy that we have done our bit to take sports forward, and His Excellency the President will also be happy to report back to the people of Ghana that with our support, his targets have been achieved.
Let's talk about two more questions, so we could let you go and have your rest and probably focus on how to drive Olympic Committee forward. Quickly, lesser known sports. I don't want to hear least finance, but lesser known sports. How can we encourage them? Because the concentration here in Ghana is always on athletics, football, boxing, the rest, pack away. New GOs, I'm sure this should be on your plate.
It is on my plate. And it's all planning, marketing, letting people know what you can achieve. Look, everybody wants to be with somebody who wins, who is a winner. If you're a winner, no matter the sport, you get people to associate with you. So we must make the sports attractive. We must help the sports to do what they have to do to let people see that they can attract sponsorship. And once we do that, we'll be able to get support. It will take time, it will be gradual, but we need to plan. That is the important thing, plan. I mean, look, if you go to some years ago, some countries, basketball was not a big thing. But now, Senegal used to be the biggest basketball. Yeah. But now, other countries are rivaling Senegal. Easily. Okay.
Lawyer, we need to wrap up, but two questions are burst into one. Quick, let's talk about the IOC grants. And when you leave the Olympic moment here in Ghana, what sort of legacy? It might be too early in the morning to ask a question like this, but when you are leaving office, either the next 4 years, 8 years, what sort of GOC do you want to leave behind your legacy? Ben said he has left a smooth administration for us, you guys to follow. Two questions, the IOC grants and the legacy you want to leave behind.
The legacy I want to leave behind, I want the story to be told after I'm gone. People to see and tell the story themselves. There are many things that are on my mind, but when we plan and work towards it, at the end of my 4 years, the story will be evident for everybody to see. In terms of the IOC grant, there are several IOC grants for several things. Yeah. For building capacity of coaches, medical personnel, even media personnel, whatever. So we're going to access all those grants and make sure very soon we'll be rolling out a program where we'll educate media especially about this IOC grants and what is involved and how we're accessing them and what we are using them for. For the coaching courses, for the administrators courses, for all kinds of things. So you'll be hearing of it very soon because we want to engage the media and let them see what these courses are, what we can get to help the federations and the athletes.
All right. Well, thank you very much for talking
to us. Thank you very much, Phil.
Yes. And all the best.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'll be speaking to the newly elected president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, lawyer Richard Akpokavie. He, together with the administration, will take charge for the next 4 years around the Olympic movement here in Ghana. I'm Phil John Quartey. We'll go for a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show.